Good morning, Pine Free Patriots. Today is a marvelous, mindful Monday morning, October 4th.
Today starts our month-long focus on the learner profile principled. Do you know what it means to be principled? Do you know any principled people in your class? Here is Mrs. Greco to tell you more about the learner profile principled.
Hey Patriots, Miss Greco here for a new learner profile of the month. So I'm going to give you 3 clues, and they're all pretty important quotes from some pretty famous people. And I want to see if you can use these quotes to figure out which learner profile is the focus for October. This quote is from Rosa Parks. You must never be fearful about what you are doing when it is right. Our next quote comes from Martin Luther King. The time is always right to do what is right. And our last quote comes from Ruby Bridges. Don't follow the path, go where there is no path and begin the trail. So what do you think, Patriots? Are you thinking about all those learner profile that you see in your classroom and thinking of some buzzwords about doing things that are right? Have you figured out which learner profile it is? Are you thinking that the learner profile might be principled? If you guessed principled, you are absolutely correct, and you should give yourself a big old pat on the back because we are focusing on the learner profile of principled for the month of October. So let's dive in a little bit and find out what does it really mean to be principled, and what should you be looking for in your peers so you can pick student of the month. Well, first, your principled patriots would show integrity. That means they are trying real hard to follow the honesty is the best policy motto. Principled patriots also know that fairness is something that we should really try to give everybody, especially when we're playing games, sports, sharing. Those are times where sometimes it's a little hard to be fair, and we want our principled patriots to try to put fairness at the top of their priority list. We also know that principled patriots believe in justice and equality for each other and for all. They are respectful to adults, they're respectful to people that they come in contact with, and they are definitely respectful to their classmates and peers. And lastly, and sometimes the hardest thing about being principled, is taking responsibility when you mess up. Because let's be honest, we all make mistakes, but it's when you take responsibility for that mistake and you own it is when you're truly showing that you are principled. So Patriots, I want you to spend the next few weeks thinking about who should represent your class as student of the month for principled. And remember, you can select up to 3 classmates, and teachers send me those names by October 20th so that I have time to go around and take pictures. And remember, all students of the month will be featured in our celebration video. You'll receive a learner profile brag tag for the month of October, which will say principled, and you'll also receive the explanation of why you were chosen by your classmates. All right, Patriots, I'm real excited for principled, and I know that it's going to be hard to choose who's representing principled because you're all so fantastic. But I'm definitely going to be looking out, and I hope that you're looking at your peers and looking to see who's showing that they're principled. Have a great day.
Thanks, Mrs. Greco. Patriots, be on the lookout for principled patriots in your class. Who will be your principled students of the month for October?
Sometimes it's hard to be principled. Sometimes you're overtired, hangry, or just not in a very good mood. Sometimes you really have to dig deep to keep a principled mind. Mindful breathing helps.
Here's Mrs. Keene to give you some mindful tips to keep you principled, even in times when it's really, really tough.
Hey Patriots, this is Mrs. Keene with Mindful Monday, and last week we talked about having a mindful moment and looking at our bulletin board in the cafeteria. We took our first step with the body scan where we focused in on one part of our body at a time from our head to our toes and see if they needed to be stretched or tensed up and then released. And now we're moving on to our second area, which is focused breathing. And focused breathing, we already know a lot about. It's something that we do a lot, and I know we do every Monday on Mindful Monday. And that breathing is so very important to mindfulness and calming down your brain and your body. There are 2 breathing boards pictured on the bulletin board, and these just help you in your breathing, something for you to look at, something for your finger to touch as you're focusing in on your breathing. So let's look at this one. We're going to start with inhale right here. We're going to take a deep breath in, and then we're going to exhale and trace our finger back to the inhale side of the rainbow. So let's practice by looking at this breathing board, and if you could imagine you're putting your finger on the red line of the rainbow at the top, and we're going to take a deep breath in and then out. We follow that line back to inhale, and let's do it again. We're going to take a deep breath in and then follow the line back. Let's do one more. Deep breath in and then exhale and follow the line back. Great job, Patriots, and I hope that you are practicing your breathing board or not, and have a mindful Monday.
Thanks, Mrs. Keene. I am definitely going to use that tip when I am not so principled and I need to refocus.
Hey, let's talk lunches for today. Today for lunch, we are having PB&J to-go box, cheese and nut combo, or beef teriyaki nuggets and brown rice.
The bowl fruit choices are cucumber dippers, roasted broccoli, a fresh orange, peach cup, or juice. And don't forget your milk and utensils, people.
It's birthday time. Today's birthdays are Lily L. and Mrs. Visuvasum's class, Naya M. and Mrs. Mullen's class, and Miles S. and Mrs. Boehm's class. Happy birthday!
Morning Mile is back tomorrow at 9:15 and ends at 9:30. You don't have to sign up. You just show up with your card and get ready to get those miles in.
Hey Patriots, guess what? It is Science Palooza week. That means we are spending the week digging into science, into different areas of science, and developing our love for science. So today's theme is space, because space is so cool and we are out of this world about science. So for today, there's some activities that you can participate in with your class in the cafeteria, and also some activities you can participate in your classroom. Every day on the news show this week, I'm going to give you a little bit of information about the theme for the day and introduce you to a scientist. So here is your little bit of information about space and your introduction to your scientist for the day. Have a great day.
I think it's just an incredible honor every day when I wake up that I'm working for NASA. So I'm going to just lay my nerd cards out on the table. What I'm really looking forward to is just seeing all the new and different experiments. It's been 4 years since I've been there. So, telling the program guys, give me more experiments, more experiments. I'm looking forward to being as productive as we possibly can.
It's really fun to be up here. You get to be all kinds of scientists at once.
It's actually really phenomenal. It's a world-class laboratory, and it's an absolutely packed one. I think it's like taking an entire university campus, a world-class university, and shrinking it down to the size of the space station. There's about 200 experiments on any given mission, and it's pretty fun to be able to do them all.
And station for Kate, what would you think about loading the up and the lower well on this last row?
Ooh, let's do it.
It is more complex up here to do things like molecular biology, and so some of the time we are just inventing how to do lab work.
It took about 10 gentle shakes with this kind of motion to get full RNA reader distribution and none of those mixing lines. Copy that, and we like what you saw and are doing. This is why we can't automate things, and we need humans.
I
I think one of the best things about being in space is that it surprises you every time. You think you know what it's going to be like up here, and then it's just completely different.
In space, I get to see everything from physics to material science to biology. It's just this incredible sense of wonder and joy.
We're increasing our complexities double time today. Appreciate the patience. This is awesome.
It's no problem. I flew my crewmate Ike around on the robotic arm in an EVA not that many days ago, so I sure understand what it takes to do this setup in the robotic commanding. I feel ya.
We're trying to take a census of which microbes are on space station. So we're working on a comprehensive sequence-based map of the space station. We're taking about 1,000 samples total. And so I'm very carefully swabbing all of the modules. Everybody floats by and says, Kate, are you still swabbing? And I'm like, yep, 1,000 samples is a lot.
We trust you that you're doing your very, very best, and we appreciate it.
This is our home. We even see it on videos sometimes when we go back, and I look at it and I think, wow, I feel like this is my home. But certainly the planet is home as well, and I'm going to always try to keep that in the forefront of my mind and appreciate that.
Kate, we thank you for continuing to push space science through your work on board and through all you do to socialize and emphasize the importance of molecular biology in space.
It's really, really, really fun to be at the pointy end of this spear here and to get a chance to do the sequencing in space. So I'm very excited about this, and I can't wait until we're sequencing, multiplexing 96 well plates and swabbing everything on the space station.
That's where we're headed next.
There's a lot going on up here, and I really do think that science is an incredible career, whether you're doing it in space or on the ground. If people are interested in this, the pleasure and the gratification of being a scientist every day, it's truly amazing to get up and discover new things.
Well, Patriots, that wraps up our news show for today. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Then please be seated for a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Have a marvelous Monday, Patriots. And remember,
We are living the questions
By feeding our passions.
and exploring our wonders.
Bye.